welcome to the M2 Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Hensley. My co-host, Kyle Heath. It is the show where we cover esports and personalities, gaming industry-related news, new and upcoming games, technology, innovation of the last week. And at the start of every show, we talk about what we've been up to. Kyle, what have you been doing, man?
Oh, baby. Listen, this past week, I did play a couple games. I'm still on my Vice City GTA. You understand? Got to go through and play that. Still chipping away at that.
Very
Very
nice.
interesting. I did, however, gathered up the boys. We had been talking about whenever Remnant 2 came out. We had talked about I'd heard the reviews and stuff. Everyone was like praising it, saying it was pretty good. But we had never played the first one, and I heard the first one was pretty good. So we were able to, we all grabbed a copy of the game. So we are currently running through the first Remnant.
Oh, nice.
And the kicker about it too is that we are running on a nightmare difficulty, which if you don't know, is like
That's the hardest, isn't it?
I think it's third highest. I think there's one after that. It's like Apocalypse or something. It's worse.
Jeez.
But my buddy, one of my buddies is really into like Souls likes, and he loves like harder games, like the harder difficulty. And so he was telling us, he's like, "Come on, we should do like Nightmare. We shouldn't just do like normal. Like I don't want to like breeze through it. I want us to actually like like spend time on it." So I was like, "Okay, yeah, fair." Eventually, like at first, I was kind of like, I won't lie. At first, I was kind of like, I don't know about like the harder difficulty, but like we'll give it a shot. And so, I mean, the first like little dungeon area, we died multiple times. We're still learning the game, kind of thing. So it's like we're just dying to like dumb stuff, and there's like a lot to be learned. But I don't know. Like we made it through the once we started learning the game and kind of getting a hang of it. We of course started dying less. We started understanding what we were doing, and we have made it to like the first kind of big boss, and so now we are currently fighting that. We gave that a solid like 7-8 tries before I was just like, all right, I have to call it because I have like work and everything, or else I'd be up until 2 trying to defeat this boss. So nonetheless, like I'm glad we're doing it in the harder difficulty because it's definitely more rewarding, especially getting through like the sections and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm locked in and I'm here for it at this rate. But yeah, I think I was looking at the time to beat. I think it's like 13 hours for that game. But the way we're playing it and the difficulty we're playing it at, it's probably gonna be longer, obviously. But But yeah, I don't know. I'm enjoying the game. I think it's interesting. It's a good shooter. Like it's a good third-person shooter, which I haven't played a good solid third-person shooter in a while. So it's pretty cool. There's like mods on guns, and you can obviously like modify your armor, make it stronger, and get new armor and stuff like that. There's kind of like a system there, which is interesting. So I'm very much enjoying the first Remnant. That's kind of been like the main new game I tried this week. I think outside of that, I don't think I really played too much else. Unfortunately, my weekend, some of it was eaten up by work, so it's just like I really couldn't do much. I did. I think I also played Uno for a little bit actually with a buddy. But
The online one?
Yeah, like the online Uno. Played a little bit of that, but other than that, I think it was like it in terms of gaming, especially over the weekend. So it was not a whole lot for me, but I'm excited to get back into Remnant because I think we're actually supposed to play like later tonight. So I'm excited to jump back in.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But
well, we'll try to wrap up so you can do that.
But Mike, I must ask, what did you play this week? Zelda?
Well, no, actually, I have not touched Zelda, and I think I will this weekend. I was thinking about that. I have a lot of traveling coming up this month. Just on Sunday, I went to Atlanta, saw Under Oath and The Ghost Inside. I got to like for my buddy's birthday, and it's a long enough drive to where it makes sense to stay there overnight.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, we got a cheap hotel near the venue and got some Waffle House like 2 a.m. But before then, like after the show, we were like, "Well, it's your birthday, man. Happens once a year. Let's go have some drinks." So didn't have work to do or anything called off. Took vacation and ended up that the headliner of and like main singer songwriter of the band went there with like his dad and best friend, and we were like hanging out with them all night.
Oh, nice.
It was like it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
Totally good dudes for sure. Pretty excited about that. And then I got some more traveling coming up this month, like going to Montana next week. A couple of weeks after that, I'm going to Las Vegas. So all that to really say in terms of Zelda, I'm taking the Switch with me. Got these long flights coming up, man.
It's a perfect scenario,
Uh,
right? I mean, come on.
yeah,
That's what it's meant for.
yes, that's 100% the plan. So I'm gonna start reporting back about my experience on Tears of the Kingdom. But outside of that, man, like I've been getting back on Halo. I've been playing a bunch of Halo 2, Halo 3, thinking about joining up into a Halo CE 3v3 tournament. We'll see how that goes. I haven't played in a while. And I've been playing Halo Infinite again, believe it or not.
Ah, I
Um,
see.
yeah, for a very decent amount of time, it's been difficult for me to play Halo Infinite without the game freezing or crashing.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm kind
Ah.
of a problem solver at heart. So I got really upset and annoyed because I was like, I shouldn't have these issues, right?
The engineer came out. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. So I basically spent, I would say altogether, in terms of research and changing settings, probably about 5 hours over the course of like 2 days. And
Okay, okay.
previously, my game was freezing just about every 3 to 5 minutes when I was playing the game. Like when the game custom games were going or matchmaking was going. If you're in the lobby, it was never freezing.
Hmm.
So I got it reduced to where I was playing last night and it did not freeze once for over about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I cannot literally like, I can't tell you all the things I had to do because there were so many of them. Like, I did so many changes to, like, make it as optimized as I possibly could. Um, it was a lot of stuff, man. But yeah, outside of that, man, just playing shooters again. Played a little bit of Diablo 4. Did I tell you I don't know if I told you last week about how I found out how long it takes you to get the mount in the game? Because like, my friends
Oh,
will
yeah,
not
yeah.
play with me
Yeah, you
until I
did
get the
mention
mount.
that, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it basically, took the wind out of my sails for a while.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I can't blame you, dude. That's, he said it was what, like 50, 60 hours or something ridiculous, dude?
dude,
Come
I
on.
basically there are 4 acts, and you have to get to act 3, and then you can get a mount, and I'm not
Oh,
even, like,
dude.
finished with act 1, so
Yeah. Well, I saw
yeah.
what was it, Co Carnage? I think he said he either made it to Act 2 or he completed Act 2 and he had like 60 hours clock. I'm like, God, dude. Like, insane.
Yeah, dude, it wouldn't like, everything I was reading, they kept saying, "Don't worry about discovering everything on the map, to try to get the portals, try to make everything as, like, short as possible. You can, like, to teleport around."
Yeah.
Because you're going by the end of the game, by the end of the campaign, you're going to see everything of the map. And I'm like, okay, but can I get a faster ride so I can join up with friends? You know?
Yeah, it is discouraging, right?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel that.
I don't know if you saw our Discord chat. I mean, one of my buddies is here and he's just like, you have Diablo 4? I'm like, yeah, you're thinking about getting it? He goes, yeah, I'm thinking about getting it until like, I think the new Madden or 2K comes out in like
Mm,
a week. And I'm like, dude, you
mm,
can't beat Diablo in a week.
nah,
Like, you
can't,
can't do that.
can't. I mean, to
Yeah.
its credit, I will say it currently holds, I think, the highest rated Metacritic of the year so far, from what I last saw. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's
good.
not,
I mean, I hear it's
it,
good, you know?
it's a good fun game. It just, it annoys me how, I mean, I know this is going to be a pro for other people. So like, I'm aware of that. But it annoys me how much I have to study the game to understand what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes when I'm like I'm more invested in the story than I am about the build and like the growth of my
Yeah.
character because it's an RPG, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just not the game for me.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm a quitter. I'm definitely gonna end up
Uh,
continuing to play it,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I just realized too. I have to catch myself. I just realized I'm thinking about Baldur's Gate 3, not Diablo 4.
Oh,
Baldur's Gate
yeah,
3
that
is like the highest rated, I think, or like, yeah,
yeah.
I think it's highest rated right now of the year. I'm completely different RPG. I think it's something else. But,
Yeah,
Diablo 4, I
yeah,
mean, it's still a
Baldur's
good
Gate
game, but yeah. It's,
yeah. Baldur's Gate 3, speaking of which, we covered that last episode, I think?
yeah. Because that was when it came
And
out last week.
yeah, and it's like if you speed run the game, it'll take you 100 hours to beat.
Something like that. It's
Speed
still
running.
another long game,
Yeah.
right? Like, another long game.
Yeah.
So,
I saw other
yeah.
people saying they're just like, "Yeah, I wanna get on that, like, play it periodically." It's like, that ain't a periodically kinda game. It's like whenever you have free time to play a game, you have to play that game in order to get anywhere.
But yeah, yeah, literally. It's yeah, that's the thing, dude. If you have a busy schedule, it's a no go. It at least feels like.
Exactly. That's where
For
I'm at.
sure, dude. For sure. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have time for games like that. I feel like, but um, I don't know. I could probably still have fun on them, but yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start going down the path of watching like YouTube cutscenes and video
Yeah.
breakdowns that are like a couple hours long and people just summarizing everything for me,
Yeah.
you know?
True.
So
Yeah.
you at least get the story out of it.
Yeah. No, you get
That
the
could be
meat of it. You know.
yeah, it could be kind of cheating though in a way. But
I mean, yeah.
you know what isn't slow and what's
Oh,
fast.
baby. I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
like it.
into our first article, man.
This is our first article. This article comes from The Verge by Tom Warren, the GOAT. The GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Um,
He's our dude.
he really is. He said the first PCIe Gen 5 drives are here, and they are fast. But do you have a need for speed? The latest SSDs have less impact on PC gaming compared to professional uses. The first
Let's go.
So it says the first PCIe Gen 5 solid-state drives are starting to hit the market with big promises of speed boosts. Tom has been testing Crucial's T700 PCIe Gen 5 NVMe solid-state drive over the past few weeks, alongside Seagate's latest FireCuda 540, in an effort to discover if this latest generation of storage will change PC gaming or how it could improve workflows for those who work on large files daily. PCIe Gen 5 NVMe SSDs are at the very early stages of life, with Crucial and Seagate part of a handful of manufacturers to actually sell this storage in stores right now. PCIe Gen 5 is expected to deliver theoretical read speeds of 14,000 megabits per second. Megabytes, I guess I should say, but that's a lot. For NVMe SSDs compared to the theoretical maximum of 8,000 megabytes per second on PCIe Gen 4 drives. That's a 75% bump in speed, but it comes at an upgrade cost. You need a motherboard that supports PCIe Gen 5 and, naturally, the corresponding CPU, both of which are at the pricey end of the PC building market right now. You're looking at $180 for a 1TB Crucial T700 model without a heatsink, all the way up to $630 for a 4TB model with a heatsink. Likewise, Seagate's FireCuda 540 is available at $190 for the 1TB model and $320, I should say, for the 2TB version. Considering you can easily get a 1TB Samsung 980 Pro as a well-reviewed Gen 4 drive that's a few years old for $80 right now, that's a big price premium. But is it worth it? So, Tom tested out each one against a 1TB Samsung 980 Pro, and you might be thinking, why not a 2TB 980 Pro? There could be variations. There could be variations, between read and write speeds of a 1TB and 2TB model. But the 2TB version of the 980 Pro only bumps sequential read speeds up to 5,100 megabytes per second compared to the 5,000 megabytes found in the 1TB model. Effectively a wash. Yeah, that's really not. You're not really going to notice much,
Yeah. That's
all right. And Tom also provides screenshots from one of the testing tools in order to test these drives. And Crucial's 2TB T700 is supposed to deliver read speeds of 12,400 megabytes per second and write speeds of 11,800 megabytes per second. In testing with a Crystal Disk Mark 8, which is a tool I often used whenever I was testing out drives. It's a pretty common one. I came incredibly close to hitting the maximum sequential write speeds at 99.9% of the advertised speed. He hit it at 11,789, so it's like right under that. Even sequential read speeds weren't that far off at 12,251, which is 98.8% of the advertised speed. Seagate's 2TB FireCuda 540 is rated at 10,000 for both sequential read and write speeds, and in testing, he saw just over 10,000 in both of them. Not quite as fast as Crucial's T700, but sequential read and write speeds aren't everything. Compared to the older 980 Pro, both Crucial T700 and Seagate's FireCuda 540 deliver some incredibly impressive sequential read and write speeds that will be ideal for working with larger files. But for ordinary tasks like loading a game, opening documents, or launching apps, we need to look at the random read and write performance. This is far less impressive on the T700 and FireCuda 540 compared to the older 980 Pro. Tom saw this play out clearly in games loading times where it was difficult to spot an improvement with the Gen 5 drives. Loading up Gears 5 was the most noticeable, but in games like Returnal, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and Cyberpunk 2077, the results were particularly identical. Practically identical. Gosh, can't read. All right, look at this chart. Mike, for those watching in the video, you'll see here. It compares, obviously, the 980 Pro to the current new ones. And, I mean, as you can see, in terms of load times, yeah, there's, like, not really a difference. Like, it's kind of maybe
really,
a
just
slight difference in some games. Yeah, Gears is, like, 4 seconds faster. Yeah, but most of them, it's not a noticeable difference, surprisingly. The latest PCIe 5.0 storage has arrived just as Microsoft, NVIDIA, and others are trying to push developers to take advantage of SSDs more in PC gaming. We're finally at the point where it looks like SSDs will become the new minimum spec for modern PC games, with Starfield requiring SSD storage and CD Projekt Red now requiring an SSD for the minimum specs of Cyberpunk 2077, with plans to phase out spinning hard disk support, which, I've said this before, and other YouTubers, especially in the PC space, have said it. Pretty much M.2 or NVMe is like the standard now for most, especially modern motherboards, right?
Yeah.
So SATA is kind of phasing out, which I don't know. Good riddance, man. I like SATA was okay, but I mean, dude, look at these speeds, Mike. You know what I'm saying? Just plug a drive directly in the board, and you're good. No moving parts. It's secured. It's there, dude. You can't really beat that. I feel like. There's also, yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's just like I think I was watching a Linus Tech Tips video similar to this about how he was breaking down the different generations of SSD drives, and you really like essentially what it came down to is you don't really notice the difference between one generation to the next, except for like generation 1 to 2. But for this, it was like 3 to 4 was about the same, whereas 4 to 2 or 2 to 4 rather is like astronomically different.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we just need a couple more generations until these games really are optimized for that type of storage and
Yeah.
those speeds.
Dude, that's what I realized with phones, right? There is like really no reason to get a new phone every year. Like you might as well
No,
just wait
absolutely
until
not.
like 3, 4, 5 versions and then
Yep,
upgrade. Because that's, I mean, yeah,
that's the
not
biggest upgrade.
not only you save a money, but you're also just like that's when you're actually gonna notice an upgrade. It's kind of the way to
100%.
do it.
Yeah,
That's really the way to do it with all tech. I feel like, um, I mean, even like graphics cards and stuff like that. Especially if
yeah,
you're like a casual gamer, like I would just wait out as long as you can, and then just like you
yep.
don't have to get even the newest version of the card. You can get maybe
Generation
2
more.
up or just like maybe 1 up, and because it's gonna be way cheaper after a couple more generations come out. So and then for my use case, the 30 series is perfect. Because I do 1080 gaming
Yeah,
still, and I might do 1440, but I have no desire for 4K or anything like that. So yeah, I didn't mind waiting. So I just got something I felt was within my kind of use case. So it's important to think like that. There's also direct storage on the horizon. Microsoft has been pushing the ability to stream big amounts of data from NVMe solid state drives directly to a GPU without having to use a CPU to decompress it. This should speed up load times in games that are designed this way, but unfortunately, we haven't seen enough examples yet. Forspoken was one of the first games to support direct storage, and Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is the latest. But it'll probably be years until developers really get to grips with designing games specifically for high-speed SSD storage and direct storage. This leaves PCIe 5.0 drives in a weird spot right now for PC gaming. Yes, they're far faster at sequential read and write, but the more important random read and write performance isn't a big enough improvement for PC games right now. If you're working with big video files or duplicating, copying, or writing big amounts of data, then this sequential read and write performance is important. Tom saw noticeable speed improvements using 50 gigabyte files on the latest Gen 5 drives. And he even provides stats along that. I mean, this is, we
this
could
is what really
probably,
matters.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we could probably go on and on, right? Like, at least for gaming, you don't notice anything crazy as of yet. It
No,
seems like, either tech needs to catch up or, it's just kind of maybe, are we hitting the cap? You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
when,
we're definitely not hitting the cap, dude. No way.
I mean, yeah, like fair, but like for me, I also look at it like load time, especially in games, like especially modern titles, it may take a little while, but like older titles and stuff like that, if you play them, especially on an SSD, it's just like click it in, like there's no like waiting or anything, you're just in. And it's pretty fast now. So you know, I
True.
don't know, maybe instantaneous in the future would be cool, but yeah, it comes to a point, especially where like once we start loading instantaneous, that's probably the cap. It's like once that's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of just
that
cut out. Um,
yeah. Once you get below like a second, it's so minute it doesn't matter anymore. You know,
yeah, which we're getting
and that's
closer
if you're
to.
like really picky.
Yeah, which I feel like we're getting closer to.
Oh,
But yeah,
definitely.
a lot of those newer titles, I mean, it's still. I mean, Gears 5 is what, like a minute almost, like on across the board. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Well, like so when did Gears 5 come out? 2019. So
yeah,
that's kind of a while ago.
it is.
Jeez, it is. Yikes.
It's crazy, right?
4 years ago. But here's the thing that we should probably like highlight again, and if I can find the article, yeah, Microsoft has been pushing the ability to stream big amounts of data from NVMe solid state drives directly to your GPU without having to use the CPU to decompress it. That is a new technology that Microsoft is basically. We even covered it. Microsoft announced that they were trying to make this work earlier this year. And the entire idea is exactly what it says. They're trying to bypass the CPU to go straight to the GPU. And they got it to work on a handful of games and prove that it was faster. Now, Forspoken's a bad example of that actually being the first game to have it because that game was unfinished and not a lot of people liked it or played it. But when that happens, where all the other games are going to adapt, like, okay, we can just send all the information now to the GPU. We don't have to send it to the CPU anymore. Then GPU prices are going to probably go through the roof and be more important to the overall build of your PC. But it'll increase like the quality of the games and how quickly you can load. You know,
Right. Yeah.
when you're basically filtering the traffic of information that's needed to be computed, right?
Yeah. Essentially. Yeah. Um, for sure.
It's
Yeah,
only going to
man.
get better, I think.
I mean, yeah, that's certainly only gonna get better. We'll see. Kind of how it pans out. There's one more paragraph I want to read though, and it's in regards to the thermals. So I think it's probably the next most important thing, especially these newer drives. Um,
Oh, 100%.
Tom said that thermals are the only concern with Gen 5 drives, as they can generate even more heat than we've seen with Gen 4 drives. He tested both the T70 and the FireCuda 540 without any built-in heat sinks, relying on a motherboard's heatsink and cooling solution. MSI
Uh-oh.
has a rather solid PCIe 5.0 enclosure for its single slot on its board, which seemed to be a good job for cooling both the drives and avoiding the thermal throttling you'd see if you didn't use an adequate heatsink. The T700 hit 60 degrees Celsius max during a workload, while the FireCuda 540 reached 64 degrees Celsius. Pretty hot little drives, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. Pretty hot.
Hmm.
I think, yeah, heat's always going to be a concern when it comes to computers for sure. But I I don't know how you feel about like being the main first gen. I don't know if first gen is the right way to say it. Early adopters.
Yeah,
Early adopters are basically like beta testers, right?
pretty much.
So yeah, I think Gen 5 drives being here, that's awesome. That's exciting. The price is going to be a lot. And there's not that much like if you're a gamer, this isn't for you, really. But if you're a video editor, if you're like a producer, you're big into music, you have a bunch of files that you have to transfer from one database to the next, and you're using like a database in your home, and you have
Yeah,
like a dedicated PC as like kind of like a server. This is this got to make you excited, right? Like
yeah,
they're
surely.
cutting seconds, like valuable seconds of time and making everything very fast. And
Yeah,
it's wild.
it's
It's pretty
very
cool.
true, man. Very true. Yeah, I think it's definitely meant for that use case. But yeah, gaming is still gonna catch
Not
up.
quite there yet.
You know.
Yeah. I think that's a programming thing more than it's like a hardware thing when it comes to gaming,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah, for sure. You know what's gonna catch up to, Mike?
Oh, okay. We're gonna go right into it. The next article.
We're done talking about SSDs around here.
All right, we're gonna talk about Send City. It's been a while since we talked about an esports org. I think
It has.
There's been a couple of them that have been struggling publicly. One of them being Gamers First, the other one being Sentinels. Cloud9 was struggling for a little bit as well. And from what I hear, there's some other North American ones that are like very tempted to up and move to like Asia because it's just a different market over there.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's get into this article. This is from AFK Gaming, and I think this might be the second or third article we've ever covered by them. I can't even pronounce this man's name.
I'm not gonna try.
You
I'm
did
not
this
gonna
on
try.
purpose? I just realized.
Listen,
You didn't give it.
listen. I didn't
You
plan
did this on
anything.
purpose.
I didn't plan anything, dude.
All right. Abhimanu Das,
Yeah,
hopefully.
that was right.
Great gentleman at Esports News over at AFK Gaming. So the title of the article is Sentinels Financial Woes Continue, and they seek crowdfunding on StartEngine. So according to an esports organization, Sentinels StartEngine crowdfunding page, the company is currently grappling with financial challenges attributed to substantial expenditures on player, staff, and content creator salaries. Sentinels embarked on its listing journey on the investor crowdfunding platform, StartEngine, on August 4th, following a successful testing phase. Notably, the company garnered substantial interest during the initial phase, with over 100 individual investors reserving shares. Sentinels incurs around 700,000 USD monthly. Monthly.
Oh,
Holy smokes. This listing opportunity provides fans with the option to invest their own funds in exchange for ownership stakes in Sentinels, accompanied by various perks. The perks are contingent on the speed and amount of the fan's investment. However, there are some concerns that arise when looking at the funding page. The section labeled Liquidity and Capital Resources indicates that the company is at risk of financial strain if it fails to secure substantial funding.
oh
Sheesh.
no, dude.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. Sheesh.
All right. I'm debating whether or not to read the Twitter or read the rest of the article. I think I'll read the rest of the article and then we'll get into it.
Yeah.
So, the company's financial viability is contingent on multiple factors. In the scenario where the minimum offering amount is raised and additional capital isn't procured from either existing shareholders or external sources, Sentinels estimates that it can sustain operations for a period of 2 to 3 months. If the maximum funding goal of over 1.2 million USD is achieved, the company foresees an extended operation timeframe of 4 to 5 months. The offering memorandum delves into the allocation of funds, revealing that Sentinels incurs approximately $700,000 on a monthly basis. These expenses encompass player, staff, and content creator salaries, as well as inventory for merchandise. The organization, renowned for its presence in esports, manages 3 esports teams under its brand in popular titles like Valorant, Halo, Apex Legends. The other one is, additionally, Sentinels has enlisted the services of 4 content creators: Tarek, 39 Daff, is
Asu.
it Asu?
Asu, yeah.
Asu?
Asu.
I always want
Asu.
to say AQ. Then there's Zoms, is the last one. In tandem with the crowdfunding endeavor, Sentinels has taken further steps to engage its fan base. On May 17th, the organization introduced the Sen Society, a subscription service for fans.
Oh, dude.
Ooh. Where do you stand on this, man? I know you know where I stand on it. So
Yeah.
I want to hear what you got to say.
I mean, look, I have to give it to Sentinels for at least understanding that where they stand now, they ain't got much time left, right? And there's not, I'm talking about, was it 2 to 3 months they got without crowdfunding? I think, or
Without
something like that.
crowdfunding. And then 4 to 5 with crowdfunding.
Oh, man. Um, yeah, it's interesting because it's one of those things like, yeah, they're turning to crowdfunding and everything. Like, you know, if you want to support them, sure. Like, it's a choice thing, right? Like, you don't have to. Um, but also it's kind of a thing of it could be a lesson learned of like, all right, if we're gonna build this kind of model of, you know, kind of the esports business model that an esports org should take. And Mike, I know you've put a lot of thought into this, right? Like if you were
Way
like kind
too
of just
much because
thinking
I
about
would
like, yo,
love
if
to
I want
have
to
an
start an
org.
org, this is how I have to do it kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because like you have to really take into consideration, like, I think especially nowadays, if it's like it's important, I think, to sign creators for an organization because you want someone to represent you. You want someone to you want to
100%.
represent someone that makes good content, right? That's
Yeah,
like content creators are kind of key, which back then that certainly wasn't the case, but I think more so nowadays, like it's a requirement. Um, I mean, you bring on these teams and stuff like that, right? And like you have these salaries you have to pay, and it gets expensive fast, especially the more games you're involved in, the more kind of activities you're doing. So I think like Sentinels, like yeah, sure they do the crowdfunding and everything. It is it's scary to see this. Like I certainly if I was a part of this organization, I'd be like, well, I can start looking for another job, like something, right? Like I need some sort of like what can I do as like a backup
oh
plan
yeah.
type thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it's a lesson learned of like, yeah, you could sign creators and stuff like that, and try to kind of have a more grassroots approach, and not. There's probably a better way to kind of manage things, and going forward, if they were to start something else to try and rebuild, it's like, okay, let's. Can we sign some creators? Can we get some contracts out there that could give us some revenue on top of what bigger creators are making? Um, because that can certainly help, but also like from like a merch standpoint, like yeah, their merch is cool and everything, but also like I'd say take a page out of Nate Shot's book, right, with 100 Thieves. Like, I mean, their merch is phenomenal, and they have these drops that like sell out quick, and it's like
True.
that is a huge. I feel like that's probably a huge part of the reason why 100 Thieves is so successful is because like. Yeah, like people meme on them as like the clothing brand at this point, not really like as much of an org, but I mean they still have teams and everything. But yeah, I mean I think expanding out and broadening horizons. I mean, I think 100 Thieves is also tied to like the drink company Juvie or whatever that they're starting. I mean, there's just so many
That's the
avenues.
key.
Um,
That's the key.
they branched out and they found things that could reach a broader market outside of esports. Because unfortunately, the way it stands currently, like you can't just survive off esports and like maybe even not, probably not even creators
Ever.
either, right? Like you have to at least have merch and you have to say, okay, what's like a service we could provide or what's some sort of market we could dip our feet into to try and generate some other channels revenue, right? Some other verticals, as they say in the, in the business world.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very important, right? So I don't know, man. I'm certainly, I'm certainly concerned for Sentinels. I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know if we'll see them by the end of the year, but I mean, I hope they stay because I think overall it's like they make good content, they have good teams in the games that they compete in. So I'd be sad to see them go. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Well, yeah, we've lost a good handful of orgs, pretty much just in a lot of different esports,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I think the biggest one to go under so far has been E United.
sure.
I think they were the biggest one that we've lost
Rest in
this year.
peace.
Huh? Yeah.
Rest in peace. You know
I
what I'm
mean,
saying?
still technically exists, but it's literally the owner. It's the only guy,
Yeah,
right? Um, but I think somewhere along the line, this is really, really bad in North America because I don't think they understand what business they're in. I think that they see what's going on in places like Korea and Japan, specifically Korea, where you can actually start an esports organization and then everybody in the city knows you. Like they become
yeah,
celebrities
it's true.
and they're selling out arenas. Where in North America, we don't have that. Like none of these teams have their own arena like a traditional sports team that you can go like watch a game at, you know?
Yeah, it's
Like,
true. Yeah,
they're not getting that income. They're not getting, like, the sales of having ownership at their LAN center and HQ. It's like most of these HQs that they have is just a flex, and they're all empty. I
I
don't
mean,
I
yeah,
don't I don't get it, but it's the truth. Um, I think what they don't understand, and this is where, like, I was doing a lot of research trying to figure out how could you get an esports team off the ground? How could you get an org to actually work? And I do, like, extensive research anytime I have these types of ideas, and what I found was that in North America particularly, it's really, like, across the board, is you have to be a talent agency first. The entire concept is to sign creators first because the creators are, like, putting their name out there. They have the viewership, the audience. So you need to use their impression rates is probably the easiest way to say it. Like their interaction, their view count, their overall like social media influence, right? It's
yeah,
one of the reasons why like FaZe is still in existence and Optic Gaming is in existence. They have creators that are like almost bigger than the esport that they're in, right?
Yeah,
Like, everybody
yeah,
knows FaZe Banks,
yeah.
right?
Everyone knows
Like,
Scumpy, dude. Everybody.
yeah, that's
Everybody.
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. So it's like when you have those types of eyes on somebody that's a content creator in your organization, you can go to recruiters, or not recruiters per se, to advertisers. Let's say like what's a G Fuel? Everybody's with G Fuel.
yeah,
You go to
everybody.
G
Yeah,
Fuel and you can, and instead of being like, oh, I'm a streamer that only has like 100 of like concurrent viewers. I'm a partnered streamer. I'm on like 3 different platforms. I have over like 1,000 plus YouTube subscribers, whatever, that kind of stuff. All these different metrics that are small for an individual person. You go there with the whole org. We're like, this is all of our subscribers on all our platforms. This is all of our impressions on like a monthly basis. And then you can pitch that deal of like, we're going to go to the ads and tell them this is how much it would cost you to be a part of this impression rate. They don't need
yeah.
to know how many, like, people it's going to and all the streamers, and then you give, like, the people that work for you, the people that you signed, a cut of it, right?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, I don't think they're doing that anymore. They're just like, you're you're an esports player that doesn't make any content, all you do is show up for the LANs, like, you win the tournaments, but nobody really buys the merch because they don't like you as a person because they don't know you, kinda thing. It's
I
like,
mean,
what are you
yeah,
really selling,
yeah,
dude? What are
yeah.
you selling? Like, you're not selling advertiser stuff because you're not streaming. You're not making YouTube videos. Okay, you have a
Yeah.
Metafy. Cool. You're teaching people. How do we get any impressions off that for the advertisers? Because it's an advertiser game. And I feel like these orgs don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's true. I mean, it's the thing, man. Yeah, there's so many. Like I think in most esports too, it's probably like 90% of the people that compete in it like don't have a significant enough audience to like bring an organization, attention, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the reality of it. I think, yeah, I think it's, dude, yeah, like if you're competing in a game, you don't make content. Like I'm not trying to dog on you or anything. Maybe you got some personal stuff going on, but like it's just like
Yeah.
it's just free real estate.
True. I mean, some of these guys, man, they're making like $2,000 a month if they're at like an A tier tournament level, A tier like esport. 2K a
Yeah.
month if you place top 4 every single tournament, like, why are you not making video content, at least for yourself? Not just for the org, but for yourself.
Yeah,
So
right.
people like you can make that side income as well.
Dude, because I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? Is you got to look out for yourself. I mean,
It drives me
I
insane,
just,
bro.
I just think about it too, because that's what Hex always says, right? It's like these players need to
Yeah.
look out for themselves, and like that's why he pushes everyone in Optic to make content. He's like, you got to look out for yourself, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's one
and
of those things. It's like,
he also understands that the brand of Optic is to be bigger than the esport that they're on.
yeah, yeah,
Which is why when somebody's so big, let's say Formal, for example, probably the biggest name now in Halo, now that's Snipe Down left. So it's like you got Formal, who's basically like an FPS god on console that can now switch from any freaking game he wants,
yeah,
you
literally,
know,
yeah,
and he'll be fine. Like, he drives me insane because he doesn't make videos, but every time he streams, he gets like hundreds of viewers, sometimes thousands.
yeah,
Just depends, right?
yeah. That's the thing too, man. All these people that don't make videos, that drives me insane too. I mean, just the amount of
Yeah.
creators out there that
If you're
just
trying to
don't.
make it your full-time job and you don't stream and make videos at the same time, I don't get it.
I don't get it either, man. Like I
I
don't
don't get
get
it.
it. Like, I mean, there's a couple people that come to mind. I mean, I'm not gonna mention names, but there's a couple people that come to mind where it's like, dude, just make videos. like, you know what I'm
Dude,
saying? Like,
if it's anybody in the Halo space, they know I've yelled at them already. So,
true, true.
like, I
Uh,
got a few that I'm just like, "Why are you not making videos?" And
yeah,
they have no excuse.
it's true. And I
It's
mean,
mostly
look,
laziness. I get that. I
and
get
it's
that.
fair too. If you don't want to do that, I totally understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a valid
Oh,
answer.
yeah.
Like, oh, I don't want to, or
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's just not something I personally want to get into. All right, yeah, fair
Oh,
enough.
yeah.
Like, yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. But there's some people. It's like you talk about, oh, I want to grow, I want to do this, I want to, I want this platform, but it's like not putting in the work for it. And like, if you don't want to
100%,
do
yeah.
that, you can't build it. That's just reality. So yeah,
You wanna know how this is what the org should really be doing. The org should just be a team of editors, like graphic designers, So you basically get a team of like very
Yeah,
skilled ones. You pay those guys salary, and then you just have all the content creators and the faces of the games, the esports teams, just record things, right? And like give them ideas of what they need to do for certain videos, and then give the raw video to like the people editing it, you know?
right. Yeah,
Then
raw
you get to
footage.
create your content, and then in have some type of deal where it's like, okay, it goes on the main channel of the org first for like the first like I don't know how long is too long. I think a week is too long. Maybe a day. I think a day would be fair. Like a day it
Day ahead
goes
or
on the
something.
main channel and then goes on the personal channel. It also depends entirely on the creator because that's like a creator to creator basis, you know?
Right. I mean, yeah. I it's one of those things like I struggle to kind of like agree with the model because like it brings you back to like MCN days where it's like you just have these
Oh
multi-channel
gosh.
networks like
Yeah.
machinima where you
Yeah, I'm
have these
trying
creators
not to do that.
you have these creators posting to this one channel and it's like yeah, I mean it kind of worked for a little bit, but then people realize like, oh, I can just do this on my own and like probably make more money. Like so
True.
it's like
Yeah.
um but like it's one thing, if
100%,
you're
yeah.
leveraging assets like editors and stuff like that, they would have the right to especially depending on the contract,
Some
they have
type
the
of
right to do
ownership.
that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a good point. I mean, there's probably a bunch of different ways, like, orgs can like try and leverage that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting, man. We could go on and on, about these orgs, how they can improve, how
Oh
they
yeah,
can
forever.
adapt to, the business market of today, because a lot of them just probably haven't. So,
Yeah. Well, go buy your Sentinel merch because it's probably not going to exist in 6 months.
mm.
Uh,
I need to get a
that's
shirt
probably
that
where
fits
they're at.
better. I bought like a small; it was way too small. It's why I never wear it, and it upsets me. So,
I got a large and it definitely shrunk on me, but
yeah.
it's one of my favorite shirts. I wore it on Sunday to the concert.
Oh, nice,
I wore it because
sweet.
it's one of those shirts that's like people don't know it's an esports. Like you
Yeah,
don't know unless you know. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those shirts.
Very true. Yeah. But yeah, Sentinels merch. I'll probably end up buying a shirt at some point. Who knows? We'll see. Um,
Yes, sir.
for sure.
But you better do it quick. I hope they stay alive though. But you know what is definitely not staying alive?
Oh,
is
baby, bold
is
statement.
it's the
Uh,
trial version. It's not
yeah,
that
it's
big a
very true.
deal.
Not a huge deal, but I got an article from The Verge, and it's about Microsoft shortening the Xbox Game Pass trials just before Starfield's release. It's tactical.
It is.
Tom Warren reporting this. The $1 Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass trials are now 14 days instead of a month. Microsoft has shortened the $1 Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass trials to just 14 days instead of a month, just weeks before the release of Starfield. After running for years, the $1 trial for the new Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscribers stopped in March before returning last month after Microsoft adjusted its Game Pass pricing. The trials have typically offered new Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC Game Pass subscribers a month's access to the subscription services for just $1. Microsoft has now adjusted both this week to move them to just 14 days, only weeks ahead of the Starfield release on September 6th. Microsoft previously stopped its Xbox Game Pass trials because the company was evaluating different marketing promotions for new members in the future. We eventually saw a new Game Pass referral program appear in May that lets you invite PC friends to try out PC Game Pass for 14 days. This will be useful to share trials with PC friends who want to get started next month with Starfield. Bethesda's newest IP in 25 years, which has been described, first new IP in 25 years, has been described as Skyrim in space. I mean, maybe it's a little bit bigger than Skyrim, but it's pretty big.
It definitely is.
Yeah. It says the trial changes come just weeks after price increases of the Game Pass and Game Pass Core subscription to replace Gold. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate was moved from $15 to $17. The base Game Pass Core for console pricing has been increased from $10 to $11. Microsoft has also discontinued its Game Pass Friends and Family plan on August 15th. And it's not clear if this preview program will ever return. It's kind of, I must say, I'm a little upset that they're actually getting rid of the Friends and Family Game Pass subscription because I feel like there's probably a lot of families out there that took advantage. You know,
I think so too. Yeah.
well, upsetting. Not gonna lie, but I mean, you know, I don't run Game Pass, so I don't know the implications.
That's the truth. Yeah, they have all the analytics, so I'm sure they did it and they think it's gonna pay off.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't really think this is that big of a deal. I know it's really unfortunate. I think they're trying to tie The Verge. I think The Verge is really trying to tie in Starfield here
Oh yeah.
because it's going to be the biggest IP in a while. I don't think it really has anything to do with Starfield in a couple of weeks releasing, and they're just like, oh, we're going to go from uh, our normal like free amount for a full month to 2 weeks. Man, they did that
Yeah.
with like the 3 month trial when Xbox Live like first started, and they shortened it down to like I think it's 1 week or 2 weeks or something. They used to come with the game. It was like, oh, 3 day trial. It's like I don't know, man. I think it's just really if you don't have Game Pass by now, you're not gonna get it, right?
Right.
I
Yeah.
just feel like
I
I
mean,
feel
yeah.
like if you have an Xbox, you probably already looked at it. You're interested in it. And they're definitely just like, okay, well, here's 14 days. Go try it out. Make your decision. You know?
Yeah. You could probably make your decision in 2 weeks, right? Right, Mike? I mean,
Oh, by far, dude. I made my decision in like 24 hours. I look at the catalog and I'm like, how much? Oh, okay. So I just need to play. I think it's like 3 games a year and it's paid for,
yeah, literally.
pretty much.
I mean, come on.
So
Starfield is coming to a mic. You understand?
yeah,
And not only that, I know we don't promote pre-ordering, but you could even get an upgraded version of like Starfield for, if you have Game Pass Ultimates. I mean, I'm just saying, dude. Oh yeah,
yeah,
it's good value all around. That's what I have to say.
yeah.
Yeah. Um. I mean, yeah, I don't think it's really the Starfield. It's probably just something Microsoft's doing. But yeah, Game Pass is still goaded. What can I say? But I
It
mean,
is.
I have to say, Mike, we have one company we've been questioning where the streaming platform is for this company because
Oh,
they need to compete, right? I mean,
they
surely,
do.
surely they have to compete. Talk about Sony, right?
We are talking about Sony, but don't call me Shirley. That's an airplane joke right there. Nobody does it. So this one is I Xbox number one rival, I guess. Microsoft's number one rival. Sony, PlayStation. So this article is also coming from The Verge. I think we're just Verge fanboys at this point in time. Maybe we should add like go out of our way to pull out different articles. Have you
Probably.
noticed the problem, dude? You ever like side note real quick? Have you ever noticed how one uh magazine or website will do an article like Sony is now streaming PS5 games at 4K, and then all of a sudden there's like 6 more articles that are like an hour or two later.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they all read the article and they're just like, oh, that's a good article, and they just grab it and then rip it. Like
That's how it
I
is.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, so this come from The Verge. Sony is now streaming PS5 games at 4K over the internet in public beta. So 4K could be a big deal, not just because of graphics, but clarity. That is a clear thing. So Sony said it was coming, and now it's here. Sony is now confirming it's launched a public beta test of PS5 cloud gaming, one that streams games to a PS5 at up to 4K resolution, according to gamers who are now receiving invitations. We didn't. Okay, so The Verge previously didn't know that Sony would be streaming at 4K, and that could be a big deal, no matter what that 4K actually means. So apparently, it's up in the air about what 4K actually means. This is a tweet from RD Metz. So it says, anyone else get invited to try the new PS5 game, Cloud Gaming Preview or Beta? Just got an email inviting me to download the latest beta system software, but also to try the ability to stream. And he posted this tweet at August 7th, 5:22 p.m. And it's basically an invitation from the PS5 public beta and PS5 cloud streaming. So, while Sony spokesperson Mary Tang says the company doesn't have additional details to share, several users at popular gaming forum Reset Era say they've made it in and are sharing some early impressions. Original poster Arashi Games says you can choose between 720p, 1080p, 1440p, and 2160p resolutions, 2160 being 4K, with games automatically loading your cloud saves so you can pick up and play. While cloud saves may seem like table stakes, That hasn't always been the case. Early versions of Sony's PlayStation Now cloud gaming service understandably had no initial way to import save games from the PS3, for instance. Not backwards compatible saves. Makes sense. You're not going to save it up to the
Crazy.
cloud, right?
Crazy, dude.
Yes, sir. I like the resolution up here. Going up to 4K is pretty nutty.
It's pretty crazy, man. Not gonna lie, man. It's streaming to a PS5, right? It's not like it's streaming to a phone.
No,
But
not at all.
it's still impressive nonetheless. You can stream 4K.
Hmm. So let's continue on with the article. While it's not clear whether the 4K max resolution refers to the render resolution or the streaming resolution, either would help because of how cloud games are streamed. Images have to be compressed quite small to get rapidly fired across the internet 60 times a second or more, 60 frames per second, for instance. And that compression can often manifest as an ugly haze over what's otherwise a perfectly playable game. Streaming at 4K resolution helps fix that, even if you don't have a 4K screen, as we've explained testing NVIDIA's GeForce Now and Google Stadia. Rashi Games says available games include God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Fortnite, Fall Guys, Destiny 2, Returnal, Demon Souls, Death Stranding, Sackboy: A Big Adventure, Destruction, All Stars, and Fall Guys. Wouldn't you just love to see Fall Guys in 4K?
Crazy. It would pop off.
with Yeah, of course. With trials available for Resident Evil Village and Demon Slayer as well. So I guess we've kind of covered this a couple of times. Sony's been saying that it's been on the horizon to have this whole 4K streaming experience directly from a TV. That's always awesome. And we were also kind of debated at the last Sony Play Direct when we expected information like this to come out, like the
Yeah.
invitation, but
Yeah.
it ended up being their little tablet. You could
Yeah.
stream from the console. It's like, okay, cool.
Q handheld.
Yeah,
That's for
Q
sure.
handheld. So, how do you feel about it? I did you know about the 4K? Streaming in 4K makes the quality better.
Um, I don't think I did actually. I don't think I did. Um, I mean, I don't know. I'm curious to see, I guess, like details and diagnostics on this. Um,
Hmm.
but I think if 4K is steady on streaming from a PS5, then I'm certainly interested to know more, and I certainly think Sony would be in the right direction to get into the streaming market. Right? The infrastructure would be pretty solid. I feel like if it can do that. It's just a matter of if they want to expand it to other devices. That's kind of the next step, right?
Oh yeah,
But I mean, yeah,
yeah.
it's still impressive to see that see those kind of numbers, especially out of Camp Sony, which hasn't really been streamer focused over the past few years. So,
No, they're definitely late to the game, I think, because the Xbox has been on this xCloud gaming. They pretty much announced that the moment Google Stadia got announced,
mhm.
like 10 years ago. And when that was not announced for release, but like announced on the horizon to be developed. And Sony hasn't said anything about their streaming software pretty much ever until the last, what would you say, like 2 years?
Yeah, yeah. I
Two,
mean,
3 years?
yeah, I know PlayStation Now has been around for a while.
It
Because I
has.
remember even like I think like 2015, 2016, I saw stuff on PlayStation Now, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I think you could like stream it to a PC, but again, like the saving thing wasn't there, and so it's kind of like it's just a
Yeah.
weird like kind of middle thing. It's like it's cool that streaming's there. I never really got a true chance to like test it, but I mean, it seemed interesting, but it seems like there were some pitfalls too. So
Yeah, I always felt like what you're saying. They kind of dipped their toes in it a little bit, but never
yeah,
really pushed it to where it could be.
right,
It
yeah,
might That might have more to do with technology back then from 2015 to now. Might have
damn,
something to
it's
do with
true,
that. But
it's true.
yeah,
Yeah, I
these are
mean,
like policy changes is what I'm getting at.
yeah, I mean, there's infrastructure issues and stuff like that too that you're working out still, especially in the U.S. So,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's a process, but I think we're getting closer and closer. I mean, I'm interested to hear more out of Sony's camp on this, to see what they make of it. But I don't know. It's interesting to see that 4K is. I mean, again, I'd love to see gameplay and everything, but if 4K streams well, that's a pretty good W for Sony.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only time you can ever see 4K stream properly is on like YouTube, and those are like pre-rendered videos.
Yeah, right.
So
Pre-processed.
yeah,
Yeah,
pre-processed. Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
You know what's also interesting is the next game that we have seen so many leaks about, so many
Yeah,
things coming out about it, and ever since Rockstar has basically said, "Nah, we're not telling you anything. We got to start over from scratch."
yeah.
So
Well,
why'd you give it to
Joseph Yaden over at Inverse.com, he's telling everyone to all aboard the hype train, baby, because we got some news.
him?
GTA 6 team is doubling down on the 2024 release date window for the game. Only a year away, Mike. Is that what I'm hearing? Oh my gosh,
It's kind of wild, dude.
that's very wild. Um, yeah. So there's still no official word on when GTA 6 will release, but the game's publisher has seemingly doubled down on the 2024 launch window. Back in May, Rockstar Games parent company Take-Two Interactive said it expects to make a boatload of money during its next fiscal year, hinting that GTA 6 could launch in 2024. In the company's most recent earnings call, Take-Two doubled down on this expectation, seemingly confirming that GTA 6 could launch in 2024. That also supports ongoing rumors that Rockstar may finally reveal the game later this year.
Please, baby.
Oh, baby. During the most recent Take-Two earnings call, as reported by Video Games Chronicle, CEO Strauss Zelnick, he said that we remain confident that we are positioning our business for a significant inflection point in fiscal 2025, which we believe will include new record levels of operating performance. I mean, that's one way of saying it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Certainly one way of saying it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, he's not
spec-
wrong.
I mean, yeah. Specifically, the company still, quote, still expects to deliver $8 billion in net bookings during fiscal year 2025, which, as noted by Axios' Stephen Totillo, it's like tortilla. I'm sorry, Stephen. That was a bad joke. Um, it runs from April
Got me
20.
hungry.
It runs from April 2024 to March 2025. During a May 2023 earnings call, Take-Two revealed its lofty goals for fiscal year 2025. Now, as part of the most recent earnings call, Take-Two has reiterated the same goal, indicating GTA 6's development is likely still on track. For context, making $8 billion net bookings would shatter a company record, beating its highest net bookings at around $5.5 billion set during its current fiscal year. To achieve such a massive goal, Take-Two would need to have something substantial planned for the release next year, and the most logical game is GTA 6. Assuming the company plans to release GTA 6 in fiscal year 2025, the game will launch anytime between April 2024 to March 2025. But considering the company typically likes to release its games in late summer and fall, it's more likely GTA 6 will launch at the end of 2024. With occasional exceptions, like 2022's Elden Ring, which was like January, February. January and February are often quiet months for game releases, and these colossal revenue expectations could be far tougher to meet in just 1 or 2 months. It's still possible the GTA 6 launch could slip to early 2025, but at this stage, late 2024 seems far more likely from a business perspective. I mean, he ain't wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
excited, dude. I am excited.
I am too, man. Um, it's interesting that this is how like we're kind of piecing together when the game come out. It's just from these earnings calls that are like mandatory by business. Since
That's
like,
true because it's a publicly traded company, right?
yeah, it's like
For investors.
you can only hide so much. You know what I'm saying, Mike? Especially when you're publicly traded. But
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those like read between the lines kind of thing.
yeah,
You know?
it definitely is. Um, I mean, it's just crazy to me, right? Because if you think about it, dude, 10 years ago, GTA 5. Think about that. 10 years, dude.
I think it's a testament to the modding community that's in GTA 5, the role play um servers
Yeah,
that are on GTA 5, and just the overall like how big that game is
I know.
and how all the different stories, man.
I mean, dude, yeah, how big GTA Online is, it's
It's
absolutely
massive, dude.
insane, man. Um,
It's crazy.
yeah, it's crazy, and it's I think I read somewhere it was like top three, like GTA 5's top three highest selling games of all time, something like that. It's not even like the first, but it's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
I don't
It's crazy.
I do not doubt it like at all. Um That's just incredible. I really hope we get a reveal at the end of this year, though. We
I
need to get something.
That would
We
go
gotta get
crazy.
something, dude.
Jeff Keighley, you understand me?
My man.
Game Awards, perfect stage. That's all I'm saying. We had
It
it's so
100% is,
it blows
yes.
my mind every year too because we get some crazy announcement. Like you got to think about it, dude. The Xbox Series X was like revealed at Game Awards, right?
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
it's crazy, man. You get those big things, and like Elden Ring has some stuff, I believe, and there's big things that
Yeah,
happen at the Game Awards. It's not just a, I mean, it's a night to celebrate games, right? Which I love, but it's also, it's kind of just like, hey, we can announce some stuff here. So who knows,
oh,
dude?
yeah, I feel like they always do that. They usually it seems to me that they'll do the Summer Games Fest, right? Well, they'll show the games upcoming that people know about or, like, the studios everybody knows they're working on something, so it's, like, their time to shine, but I feel like if you announce something at the Game Awards, it's as if there's been no promos whatsoever. Nobody
Right?
knows
Yeah.
about it. Like people okay, maybe I shouldn't say nobody knows. People know about it, but they haven't seen or heard anything about it. Other
Yeah.
than like it's a massive project built in this world. You haven't seen anything. Like we have no idea really what GTA 6 is gonna look like, unless you've seen leaks, which I went
Which
out of my way not to see.
same.
Not to see. So you saw
Yeah.
some of them, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but then I stopped myself. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like,
You gotta stop yourself.
it's crazy, but that was September of last year. I mean, it's almost been a year,
It's
right,
a long
since we had those leaks.
they
So crazy.
Yeah, they did say it pushed the game back for them because they felt like that it spoiled the story.
Yeah,
So
which it's just unfortunate, man. These people just
it's gonna
leaking stuff, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be weird though. GTA in 2023, 2024, and how do we put this? Uh, insensitive the game of GTA is.
Yeah.
It's gonna be curious. Do they stick to the same insensitiveness, if that's a word?
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to
It's
it either way.
yeah.
I
I mean,
I
yeah.
think GTA is one of those games that's just so big. It's gonna be so interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, dude. Like, I'm going back to play some of the old GTA games, and like, I mean, the charm in GTA is that it's just there's a lot of satire, and that's kind of like
Oh
that's
yeah,
like the lifeblood of especially the
that's like the
world.
point, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, yeah, it's because like it's. I always go back to like the radio, like hearing the different radio shows.
yeah,
The
dude.
music is always spot on, right? Because it's just the music of that time,
Yeah,
essentially, and they always nail it. But it's like on top of that, it's kind of just like
the talk
just
show
yeah,
hosts.
the talk show host and all that, just talking about these outlandish things. It's like that's the satire, man. It's the
Just
beauty of it.
yeah, that it's like intentionally. It's almost like a comedy in a way,
Yeah,
like a dark comedy,
yeah. It's
like
weird because
watching the Joker.
it's like social, like kind of like economy and the social kind of stuff, and it's
Yeah, it's like
I don't know. My brain is like exploding thinking about the different angles they could take if they really wanted to.
yeah.
Like it's crazy.
The point is, I think GTA is one of the biggest IPs in all of gaming. I would really put it up there, probably in the top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, excluding things like sports, because sports is like an entire different category to me.
Right. Yeah.
Something that's like more original, right? I think GTA is definitely in the top 5
Yeah.
of like largest gaming IPs. So anytime they release a new game going forward, probably to the end of time, with how successful they've been, and how consistent they've been,
Yeah.
it's always going to break the internet. And these earning calls, it's like, dude, they're going to crush whatever financials because it's like that might be one of those games I might even consider like, I mean, I guess I'll pre-order it. I'll go against
It's
my own. You know
like
what
I
I
was
mean?
saying, Mike.
It's
Like
one of those.
it's
Like
yeah.
I'm
It's
adamantly against pre-ordering, and that's one of those things where it's like that might be a pre-order.
yeah. Like as much as there are exceptions. I feel like for everyone. But I mean, it's one of those things like GTA. It's like when a game comes out, it's like what a time to be alive kind of thing. It's like this is we're at a
Oh
time where we're
yeah,
still getting new GTA games, which is exciting. It's just that
it's
big of an
wild.
IP. So
Yeah,
yeah,
10 years you said.
yeah. 10 years since the
Holy
last one, right?
crap, dude.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
crazy.
I guess because it's crazy to think too. Because I think GTA 4 was what like 2008 or something like that, like 2007 or 8, I think. So it was I guess 6 or so years between that one and now we're coming up on a decade. It's gonna be another year, right? So 11
Yeah,
years until we get this game. It's like the scale of games is getting pretty crazy. You know?
that's just incredible, man. Absolutely incredible.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely wild, dude. It's insane. Um,
Mhm.
what is also kind of insane is the fact that no, I won't say it. I think we actually are gonna hit over an hour. I was gonna be like, maybe we're under. But I
Oh,
don't
no, no,
know.
no. I got the clock going. We're a little over an hour now.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just go ahead and wrap it up since that was a decent enough segue.
Yeah.
I think that what we could talk about now is all the links that are in the description if you guys want to check them out. All the articles we talked about, all the things we reacted to, gave a little bit of a cover, are in the description below. You can check those out. You can hit us up on socials. They're all down there too. You can join the Discord, say what's up. You can send us articles, feedback, like and subscribe. Follow us on any listening platform you're currently on. We've seen some numbers going up. It's always good to see. And we're going to try to bring you some more content throughout the week. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
And you got anything for him, Kyle?
I don't got anything, man. I know we're not a sports channel, but preseason football this week. That's all I'm gonna say.
I won't lie to you. That's also what I've been working on, man. I've been doing some research for fantasy football, NFL fantasy football.
It's
I'm
coming
in
up, dude. Yeah, it's coming up. I'm doing some
I,
research
I,
too. So
yeah, I'm gonna be in 3 leagues this year. So
yeah.
we're taking it serious. I got a draft board. We're doing an in-person draft board. I'm the commissioner of one. So
Oh, let's
it's
go. That's
actually
hype.
it's
That's
over
hype.
it's over by the guitar in the back over here. You can't
Um,
really see it that well. But
yeah, yeah. I got one league I'm in that I'm actually gonna be like tracking, and then ton of best balls, and I want to try and join one other like legit league too. So we'll see. But
oh, nice.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, we might actually set up a relegation league this year. So
That'd be sick.
yeah, so if you get last place, you get kicked out of the league.
It's awesome. Oh
So
my
you have
gosh.
to fight your way back up.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it works. I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But anyways, to the viewers, to the listeners, we appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the M2 Podcast. I'm Michael Anthony, my co-host, Kyle Heath. Thank you very much. We'll see you later.
Thanks for listening,
Peace
everyone.
out.
Bye.
See you.